On behalf of New Zealand, I want to apologise to Grace's family. Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't, and I'm sorry for that. I've advised the family through the police that if there is anything we can do to assist, we are here to help with that.
On December 1, 2018, a young woman from England embarked on what was meant to be the trip of a lifetime. She had just graduated from university, packed her bags, and set out to explore the world, beginning with South America before arriving in New Zealand. Her name was Grace Millane, a 22-year-old backpacker from Essex. She was full of life, ambition, and dreams of seeing everything the world had to offer. But just one day before her 22nd birthday, Grace would vanish. What followed was a case that shocked not just New Zealand, but the entire world, a story of deception, violence, and betrayal at the hands of someone she had only just met. She was a young woman with big dreams. Grace grew up in Wickford, Essex, in a close and loving family. Friends described her as fun, adventurous, and full of laughter. She studied advertising and marketing at the University of Lincoln, where she quickly became known for her warmth and ambition. After graduating in 2018, Grace decided to take time out to travel. She booked a year-long worldwide trip, beginning in South America before heading to New Zealand. This was her chance to experience independence and freedom before settling into her career. On November 20, 2018, Grace arrived in New Zealand. She spent her time exploring Auckland, meeting other travelers, and updating her family through messages and photos. Everything seemed perfect. But Grace's sense of adventure and openness to new experiences would tragically place her in the path of someone dangerous. On December 1, 2018, the night before her 22nd birthday, Grace arranged to meet a man she had connected with on Tinder. CCTV captured her entering Sky City in Auckland, smiling, and heading into a bar with him. The man was 27 years old, someone who appeared charming and confident. But behind the facade, he carried dark and violent obsessions. The two shared drinks, talked, and seemed comfortable in each other's company. By the end of the night, Grace left with him and returned to his apartment. The following day, her 22nd birthday, Grace never replied to her family's birthday messages. For those who knew her, this was completely out of character. It was the first red flag that something had gone terribly wrong. At first, they thought perhaps she was busy exploring. But as hours turned into days, worry grew. Grace's father, David, knew something was wrong. His daughter was always in touch. By December 5, Grace was officially reported missing.
Grace's dad. Thank you for coming today. As you know, Grace has been missing for several days. We last had contact with her on Saturday the 1st of December, and as a family we've been extremely concerned for her welfare. Grace is a lovely, outgoing, fun-loving, family-orientated daughter. Grace has never been out of contact for this amount of time. She's usually in daily contact with either her mother, myself, her two brothers, members of the family on social media. She arrived here on the 20th of November and has been bombarding us with numerous photographs and messages of her adventures. We're all extremely upset, and it's very difficult at this time to fully describe the range of emotions we are going through.
Police in New Zealand launched a large-scale investigation, combing through CCTV footage, her bank accounts, and her phone records. It didn't take long to discover the last person seen with Grace, her Tinder date. He was quickly identified and brought in for questioning.
Tell us about Grace.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder.
Yeah.
We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday. And then we met at Sky City. And then we decided that we were going up to Andy's Burger Bar, which is on the first floor.
Whose idea was it to go to that particular burger place?
Me. Because I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile, or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
How does meeting in a public place sort of protect you from meeting someone who's not as good looking as...
Well, there's security there. So if she wasn't who she said she was,
Yeah.
at least in my mind I'd feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's us.
Down there?
Yep. So she's going that way, and I'm going across the street. I go down Queen Street. No, I go down Victoria Street, straight down to the bottom, and then hang a left, and I head towards the viaduct.
You've kind of walked in a bit of a funny direction if you were planning to go to the viaduct. Is there a particular reason you were going to do that?
I feel safer down that way.
And we're very, very concerned for her safety, obviously.
Yep.
It's entirely possible that she's been the victim of foul play.
Okay.
You understand what that means?
Yeah.
What would your feelings be about providing us with a voluntary DNA sample in the event that we can compare that against something? Would you be happy with that?
100%. I mean, I know I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm happy to do it.
Okay. At this stage, we don't know what's happened to this girl.
Okay.
It's possible that somebody has killed her. Okay.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yeah.
She might, when I say foul play, I mean that someone might have murdered her. Don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead.
Okay.
Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Am I being arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested, mate.
Oh.
No.
Oh, sorry. Holy shit.
At first, he claimed that their night had been normal, that they had a few drinks, went back to his place, and that Grace had left early the next morning. But detectives weren't convinced. CCTV showed otherwise. Grace had never left his apartment. Under pressure, the man changed his story multiple times. Eventually, he admitted that Grace had died in his apartment, but he described it as a tragic accident. He told police that he and Grace had engaged in consensual rough intimacy, and that she had died during the act. He claimed he panicked, not knowing what to do. But evidence told a different story. After Grace's death, the man didn't call for help. Instead, he went out the next day on another Tinder date with a different woman, behaving as if nothing had happened. Later, he searched the internet for methods of concealing a body, even watching violent pornography before leaving his apartment to buy cleaning supplies. On December 9, 2018, police discovered Grace's body in a suitcase buried in the Waitakere Ranges, a remote forest area outside Auckland. The discovery confirmed her family's worst nightmare.
Identified late last night as a location of interest as a result of our investigative work. I can now advise that a short time ago we located a body which we believe to be Grace. The formal identification process will now take place. However, based on the evidence we have gathered over the past few days, we expect that this is Grace. The focus now is to piece together exactly what happened to a young girl who came to New Zealand on her OE. Obviously, this brings the search for Grace to an end. It is an unbearable time for the Millane family, and our hearts go out to them. Any father, any parent in this situation will struggle. Yeah, I feel for my other daughter in her 20s. So, yeah, we're putting a lot of support around him. It's difficult because he's here with a brother from England and the rest of the family are back home.
The trial began in November 2019. The defendant's name was eventually revealed as Jesse Shane Kempson. Prosecutors argued that Grace's death was not an accident, but a result of his obsession with domination and control. His internet history revealed chilling searches in the hours after her death, including violent material and questions about body disposal. The defense maintained that the act was consensual, and that Jesse had panicked after a tragic mistake.
That this is not a murder. And that's still what I say to you now, nothing has changed. It was an accidental death that took place in the context of sexual activities that, if done incorrectly by inexperienced and or intoxicated people, can go wrong.
To have killed Grace Millane, the defendant, gentleman over here at the back behind me, had to have had her under his grip, suffocating her, strangling her is probably the correct term, for a total of 5 to 10 minutes, at some point of which she lost consciousness and would have become under his hand hold, unconscious and limp and lifeless, and he had to carry on. And if that's not reckless murder in this country, ladies and gentlemen, somebody will have to explain to me what is.
Do you find the defendant, Jesse Shane Kempson, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
After just 5 hours of deliberation, they returned a guilty verdict for murder. Jesse Kempson was sentenced to life imprisonment, with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years.
She was diminutive. In those circumstances, Ms. Millane was particularly vulnerable. You were in a position of total physical dominance.
On a daily basis, I torment myself over what you did to my Grace. The terror and pain she must have experienced at your hands. As a mother, I would have done anything to change places with her. I sit full of guilt, knowing I couldn't help her, but I should have been there. She died terrified and alone in a room with you.
The verdict of murder today will be welcomed by every member of the Millane family and friends of Grace. It will not reduce the pain, the suffering that we've had to endure for over the past year. Grace was taken away from us in the most brutal fashion a year ago, and our lives have been, and family have been ripped apart. This will be with us for the rest of our lives. We would like to thank several people. Auckland Police Force, been professional, diligent and thorough all through this investigation. Last but not least, we would love to thank the people of New Zealand. They've opened their hearts to Grace and her family. I cannot express our gratitude enough for all the offers and gifts of kindness that we've received over the last year.
In New Zealand, the case sparked national conversations about violence against women and the risks many face while traveling. Vigils were held across the country, with thousands paying tribute to Grace. Grace Millane's story is a reminder of how quickly lives can be shattered by someone's selfishness and cruelty. She was a young woman with a world of opportunities ahead of her, taken far too soon by a man who showed no remorse. While justice was served, no verdict could ever ease the pain of her loss. Grace's memory lives on, not just in the hearts of her family and friends, but in the countless lives touched by her story.